9 this morning.
A little something for the weekend with Sam Hunt.
He's joining us on the line. It's Sam Hunt. Good morning, Sam.
Hello, Wammo. I was just going to comment. That was wasn't that I just heard the last couple chords?
Yeah.
But wasn't that them, Van Morrison's first band?
The Pleasers.
The Pleasers. Oh, but Van Morrison, that's the End of Gloria, isn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Right, which of course Van Morrison wrote, eh?
Well, you're going to have to fill me in the history of that. I know it's a classic.
Yeah. Van Morrison wrote that when his first band in Belfast called Them.
Yeah.
And a lot of people thought they would make it in the way the Rolling Stones did, but I don't think maybe Van had the sex of appeal
No.
of others.
They sounded like the Stones, didn't they?
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I had that album when it first came out. Actually, it was just called Them. Came out in 1964, I think. 4 copies, I remember, were imported to New Zealand.
Wow, is that all?
Yeah, maybe more later, I don't know, but I know the first lot, there were 4, came into the country. And the bloke who had an old record shop in Auckland, high up in the above Vulcan Lane or one of those roads, Derby Street or somewhere.
Yeah.
It was called The Vault. And you went up and up and up these stairs, and you had great music. That's where I first heard Dylan Thomas and all sorts of things. Including the boy from Belfast, the Belfast Cowboy.
Can you remember what was on the cover of that?
Of that album, yeah. It's a lineup of the band of Them with Van Morrison looking very much a young man with sort of quite frizzy hair.
Yeah.
And with flared pants and his backing group, all of them. And they did about two albums. They did one called Now and Them. And then later on, they did one called Them Again. But then by that time, Van Morrison had gone off to do it on his own, you know.
Ah, right, of course.
Hey, look, I don't want to get sidetracked. I wanted to get a chance to say that last week I mentioned Lindley Edmeades at the end of last week when we were talking.
Yep.
Yeah, she'd sent me some poems. She lives in Wellington. She's a bookseller. It seems like a lot of the poets are booksellers. Do you remember that woman we were talking about a few weeks ago, Tracy Hurd, who lives in Aberdeen?
Yeah.
You know, who wrote Anne Sexton's last letter that I did? Yeah, well, they all seem to be booksellers, poets.
Well, maybe it's a good way of just surrounding yourself every day, you know, with what you love.
It's interesting that's always an interesting debate, isn't it? You know, because for me, I mean, I've never had a decent job. Somebody said to me, recently I said, are you going on holiday? I said, I can't really go on holiday because I haven't got a job.
Yeah.
It's been like that all my life. But my thinking about it was, and pretty much observed this when I was young, and did have what they call a day job. It was sort of things I tended to do was to drive trucks. I drove truck and trailer units for about 2.5 years solidly, you know, and but it wasn't literary. I would have found sort of working in a bookshop, although a good bookshop like the one that Lindley works in Wellington, which is a great bookshop, Unity Bookshop,
yes,
like in Auckland here. And he said, doing an ad, well, they deserve it. You know, I just wonder, what I'm trying to say is I just wonder whether it could become claustrophobic, that was all.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, maybe for some people it would.
Let me read you a poem, one of hers, may I? Yeah, this is called By the Book. She sent me quite a bunch of them. Which one shall I do? No, I'll do this one. This is a great one. This is a really lovely one called Departure. Morning arrives, I rise, sit down and look out the window. This is what the poet tells me to do. I see the sky with a storm and a seagull inside it, and if that doesn't pique my interest, what will? Let's try that again. The morning arrives and I arise to meet it. I look out this burgeoning window. No, still nothing. I see a storm and a teacup and an empty page, and down upon those who offer this advice I cast my morning eyes. This window is boring. I would rather spend my morning looking into the mirror with my eyes closed.
Nice.
I like that.
Yeah, nice.
She's great. She's really good. It's wonderful. I think she's got. I mean, well, actually, I keep on thinking of that Scottish poet Tracy Hurd. I don't mean an influence, but just somehow, just a feel. Yeah, I got time for another one here?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's called By the Book. I think it's a good one. After reading a long biography of Simone, oh, maybe she works in the bookshop, doesn't she? You know, I'll start again. After reading a long biography of Simone de Beauvoir, I announced to Adam we should practice an open relationship. After some tears, he took a plane across the ditch with a pair of board shorts and a bongo drum. He moved in with a lesbian who had an harasser. She fell in love with him and didn't like it when I called. I flew to Mumbai without a bra, was harangued by a one-legged beggar, and was moved into a state of silence. We met up in London later that same year. I was wearing a bra again. We both wore tight black jeans and took turns blaming them for our lack of intimacy.
Wow, that's quite a story, isn't it?
It's good, isn't it?
Oh.
Yeah, so I'm delighted. I was going to hang on, seem to be yakking away here, but watch out for her. She hasn't published much, but her name is Linley Edmeadson, Edmead, like mead, honey mead, Edmeads, Edmeads, Edmeades, Linley Edmeads, and bloody good. And to me, it's always a huge joy, and I think that's the right word for it.
And did she send the poetry in because she had heard that you were on the radio, or did it happen another way?
I'm not sure, but what I do know is that I don't know about that. But what I do know is that she also organised a tribute at her bookshop that she works, the Unity Bookshop, for Alistair Tianaki Campbell when he died. Yeah. I wasn't able to get to it, but you very kindly, and they're very grateful to you, Wam. I think they've been in touch. She was the one who organised that one that you sent.
We did.
Isn't that a strange world? Because you arranged for me to pay a tribute to Alistair, which they played at that thing.
Yeah, and we sent a message.
And she was the organiser. So, and she turns out her other self is this person who sits out there looking at Cook Strait and writing poems.
Can I open the mailbag? I think this is a good time to open the mailbag.
The mailbag? What do you mean the mailbag?
I've got a bit of mail here. Well, it's electronic mail.
You're having beer. You're opening your beer today, aren't you?
Well, I am. I'm looking forward to that. That's
I wish I could be there. I'm going out. Do you know what I'm doing today?
What?
I'm going out for our annual cruise on the super yacht.
Oh.
And we've got to work.
Yeah.
And the lineup is Chris Bailey, Fagan and the People.
Yeah.
And Hammond Gamble. And band Lisa Crawley. I don't know the Lisa Crawley trio. Do you?
Oh, I know Lisa Crawley. I don't know if she was in a trio now, but she'll be fun.
Yeah, good. She's on at 2:30. Debbie and the Band of Gold. And, myself. And Hello Sailor. Man. And AutoZam. And the Chicks.
Oh, how do I get a place on this super yacht?
You become you saw life insurance and you end up on the boat.
Okay. Yeah.
Hey, what do you reckon? Now, tell me about the mail.
Oh, the mail. Okay, I've got a wee message here. This has come in from Rana. Rana, she says, I really enjoy the poetry sessions with Sam Hunt on a Friday morning. I have a friend that writes the most amazing poetry, and I feel that Sam would be interested in reading a few pieces on air. Is there a way to contact Sam, or should I send it to Kiwi FM?
Great. Well, tell Rana, this is Rana, is it?
That's correct, yep.
Yeah, and I don't mind giving him an email address, which is the title of my last book. Not my last book. My last book's Backroads, but the one before that, Doubtless. Yes. So it's simply Doubtless, like think Doubtless Bay, but don't put Doubtless Bay, you just put Doubtless. Yeah. Doubtless at extra.co.nz.
Perfect.
Easy. And I'll tell you what I have been really, really enjoying that a friend sent me, and that's Bob Dylan doing a Christmas carol, a video.
Oh.
I better send it to you. It's very, very funny. Old Bob makes a great old piss Father Christmas.
Is this on the YouTubes?
Yeah, I'll send you the thing. Yes, it is. It's on the YouTube. It's one of those codes. You know, what do? You plug into it. And
Cool.
So that's good. So my driver is about to arrive and pick me up, and I don't have to do any more driving these days. Well, apart from the truck when I'm out doing those things, but when I have to go to work, and so I'll be picked up in about 5 minutes, and
right. And we'll share a home brew maybe in the next few months because this, I think it's going to be very young this morning. It's a little bit too young.
It will be beautiful. I love young beer.
Yeah,
I love young beer. Yeah,
okay.
I do. I think young beer can be almost close in a strange sort of way to somewhere between a rosé and a champagne.
Oh, okay, all right.
Think rosé champagne.
When I'm drinking it this morning, okay.
Yeah, you'll be legless by 9:10.
No doubt.
Okay, Wammo.
All right, see you, Sam.
We'll talk to you next week.
Later.
See you. All the best.
That was a little something for the weekend with Sam.